Joseph's journey, turning setbacks into comeback shave. You ever felt like life just knocked the wind out of you? Like everything was finally falling into place, and then bam! Out of nowhere, you're blindsided. Maybe you lost a job, a relationship fell apart, or a dream you were chasing just collapsed. It's frustrating, painful, and honestly, sometimes it makes you want to throw in the towel. If that's you, I have a story that might just change your perspective. Let's talk about Joseph. And no, not your neighbor Joe who keeps borrowing your lawnmower and never returning it. I'm talking about the Joseph from way back in ancient times. This guy knew a thing or two about setbacks. Imagine this: you're the favorite child, which already makes your siblings hate you. And one day you tell them about a dream where you're basically ruling over them. Not exactly the best family bonding move. So what do? Sit you down for a mature conversation. Nope. They throw you into a pit and sell you off like a cheap piece of furniture at a garage sale. Ouch. So now Joseph, who was living a pretty comfortable life, finds himself shackled and dragged to Egypt as a slave. Talk about a rough day, but here's where it gets interesting. He doesn't sit around feeling sorry for himself. He works hard, stays faithful, and before you know it, he's running the household of a powerful Egyptian official named Potiphar. Things are looking up, finally, a break. But hold up, because life isn't done throwing punches yet. Potiphar's wife. Yeah, she's got her eye on Joseph. She tries to seduce him, and when he refuses, she pulls a classic villain move. She lies and says he was the one who came after her. And just like that, Joseph is thrown into prison for something he didn't even do. If there was ever a moment to give up, this was it. Now, let's pause for a second. Because let's be real, how many of us would have thrown a full-on pity party by this point? Why me? This isn't fair. I was just starting to get my life together, and now I'm in prison. Joseph could have gotten bitter. He could have blamed God. He could have decided that no matter what he did, life was just going to be unfair. But instead, he chose to keep going. Even in prison, he kept working, kept leading, and soon enough, he was put in charge of other prisoners. And then another opportunity. Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, has some bizarre dreams, and Joseph, who had a gift for interpreting dreams, is called up to explain them. Turns out, Egypt was about to go through 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. Pharaoh is so impressed that he promotes Joseph on the spot to second in command of all Egypt. That's right, the guy who was betrayed, sold, enslaved, falsely accused, and imprisoned is now running the show. And get this, years later, when the famine hits, guess who comes crawling to Egypt for food? His brothers. The same ones who threw him in the pit. Can you imagine their faces when they realize the guy they sold is now the one deciding whether they get to eat? Now, here's where Joseph could have said, "Welp, karma's a thing. Good luck starving." But he doesn't. Instead, he forgives them, because by now, he understands something powerful. Every single setback was setting him up for something greater. So, what can we learn from this? Your pit is not your end. Just because you've hit rock bottom doesn't mean you're going to stay there. Pits happen to all of us. But what defines us is what we do next. Work where you are. Joseph didn't wait to be in a high position to start making an impact. He gave his best even in slavery, even in prison. So don't wait for perfect conditions. Make the most of where you are right now. Setbacks aren't stop signs. They're just detours. Joseph went through betrayal, slavery, false accusations, and prison before he ever reached his purpose. If you're going through a rough season, don't let it convince you that your story is over. Stay faithful in the process. When things don't go your way, it's easy to get discouraged. But Joseph's success came because he stayed faithful in every season. Every season, even the tough ones, turn your pain into purpose. Joseph didn't just rise to power, he used that power to save millions, including his own family. The pain you've been through, it might just be the thing that helps you change someone else's life. Look, life is unpredictable. One day you're on top of the world, the next day you're in a pit. But no matter where you are right now, remember this: your story isn't over. That setback, it's just a setup for your comeback. Keep going, keep growing. Your Egypt moment is coming. Asterisk.